Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good any time of the day or night, wherever you are. Peace and blessings, and thank you for joining me again. Listen, I just want to tag on a little bit from what I was saying last night about abortion. Still, another part of that is that no exceptions means the life of the mother. No exceptions means even if the child that uh, the mother is carrying would not survive after birth, or would live just a very inconvenient life, and a life that would be very costly medically, and parents would have to come up with that money because our government is not going to provide any extra money. And we all can just look up. I mean, it's very easy to just investigate and find out how some of these diseases, if the child survives and lives, how much it costs parents just to care for the child. They usually have to give up everything that they have unless they're incredibly wealthy, which most people, 99% of the people in these United States of America, are not. So the life of the mother, that is actually last on the list. This government doesn't care if the mother dies having birth. That doesn't mean anything to them. The mother's life basically is not important. You know, it's expendable, very expendable. They're not really concerned about whether that mother dies. And not only if that mother dies, but if she leaves a family, husband, children behind from a very preventable death. And they don't care if the baby dies too, while the mother is dying trying to save the baby. Okay? Again, the child can be born with disabilities that are so egregious, so enormous that there's no way for this child to live a normal life, and the child would survive, and you know that I guess that's a blessing. That the child can survive, but it's not a blessing to the parents. And I don't want to make it like the child's life is not important. Absolutely, it is. But we have had heard of children who were born and lived 30 minutes, 90 minutes, because they were never going to live any longer than that. And so the question is, are you really pro-life if you make a mother, a family, and an unborn child go through that? How's that passing? How's that making any sense at all? It's hard for me to say this because, like I said, for abortion, that is just because people are using it as a form of contraception, I don't agree with at all. But I don't see how bringing a child into the world to live for 30 minutes makes sense when you already know this child is not going to survive. Medically, they know this child is not going to survive. And again, the mother that you may not just be taking from the child, the unborn child, or the child that survives birth and dies shortly after, but you may be taking that mother away from other children, from a husband, from parents, sisters, brothers. It's just, you have to weigh. And believe me, I pray about this because it's a very difficult thing for me to do. But I pray about this, to even say this, because life is precious, is important. But again, we are talking about men who more than likely don't care about whether the mother survives. It's an agenda. It's a push. They're trying to increase the numbers in the white race, and they will do whatever they have to do that. And I think of these people who talk about, how quote unquote godly they are, like Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. This man is supposed to be such an upright, upstanding Christian who has no reservations about a mother dying. If this Congress passes law that a child that is born with severe disabilities, the government will provide for that child for the rest of its life, I say, great, let's do it. Let's do it. And as I say that, the caveat is this really life for this child? Is this child just suffering? Is what's going on? Are we bringing a child into the world who's just going to suffer for the time that it lives and then dies? It's very, very hard to talk about this and consider this and weigh on the side that is least harmful, which is what I would do if I would say if a child is not going to survive, then why would you make the mother go through, risk her life, and possibly leave other children? There are people who have carried babies to term, and in the process, because the babies had issues, or even because the babies died inside of them, and they were made to carry them to term, now these females can no longer have children. The one opportunity that they had to possibly be able to have children in the future, the government took away and intends to take away from all these mothers. Okay, so, if I come up with something else that I think I want to talk about regarding that, I'll get back on. There's one thing that I do want to say, y'all pay attention to and do your research and find out. Now, I did some research and found out that immigrants make up 19% of the workforce in these United States of America. And Donald Trump says on day one, and let me tell you what, this man, you need to believe what comes out of his mouth. If he says it, believe it. On day one, he is going to deport all of these people, or at least start the process, and maybe even more than that, because he's planning on doing what he's going to do right now. 19%. What is it going to be like in these United States of America if they get rid of 19% of the workforce? What's that going to do? Who's going to do the work? There's only two options. The work won't get done, or they're going to make somebody else do it. And who do you think is at the front of that line? I'm just saying. All right. So much for that. Peace and blessings. Thank you all for giving me some of your time. Contemplate these things. Pray on these things. If you know the words of prayer, have a connection with the Almighty, pray on these things. All right. And always, always stay woke.